Hey,
Good day.
hey, all right.
Well, I didn't have to redo it. I guess it just did it automatically from
On
last
and
time.
on.
So,
Hi, good afternoon or good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hi, good morning. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good morning. Welcome.
Morning.
Jason, do we want to do a quick mic check?
Yeah, that sounds great. If folks want to do a quick test, say hello. Happy to make sure that mics and cameras work.
Hello, this is Richard Begay. I'm with the Navajo Nation. I think I show up as Bitta Becker on the screen. She's unfortunately not able to make it. Did you hear that?
Yes, thank you. We will make sure to rename you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, I just renamed you, Richard.
And I don't know how to do the background. I know there were instructions sent out, but I now can't find the email. Bitta did forward it to me.
Okay, yeah, I don't see your camera on either, Richard.
Yeah, this is a new laptop and I'm not quite sure how to do it. Okay.
Hello, Richard, I just requested for your video to be turned on. Do you see like a prompt
I
asking
did.
you?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind clicking on that, making sure that your camera works, please.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I see something.
There's a red spot.
Hello, Mr. Grijalva.
Richard, is there something on the top of your laptop that you might be able to slide or move over? That it might be something that's blocking.
Oh, yeah. I guess I should take the label off. Hold on. There we go.
I can see you.
Yeah. Okay. So how do I do have a photo we could put up there. How do I do that?
Okay, if you go on the lower bar, you'll see something that says mute and stop video. You'll want to click on the little up arrow by the stop video.
Okay.
And then you'll want to click choose virtual background.
It just says choose background. Okay.
One sec. I have to take this. Hello.
Yeah, it's doing something. I don't.
1 second, let me look up the instructions for you and I'll take it over from Jason. Hi everyone, to those joining us, thank you. We're working on making sure that everybody's mic and camera works, and we are going to provide also some instructions about how to change your virtual background. So give us just a couple of minutes, okay? Okay, Mr. Begay, so which type are you on? You said select a virtual background, correct?
Yeah, I selected background. Now I'm in settings, and so that little thing is just spinning, but I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Jason, is there a way that we can make Mr. Begay a co-host? That way he can share his screen and we can guide him?
Yes, I think, do you have that power now since you're a co-host? All right, I've made him a co-host.
Thank you. So do you know how to share your screen with that
No.
green button? No? Okay.
Oh, okay. Share screen. Yeah. So what do you
And
want me
then
to do?
share the Zoom portion of your screen. That way we know how you are clicking when you are selecting a virtual a background.
Does that work?
Yes, sir. Good job. Okay. I think it's it's loading. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm at the Arizona Water Resources Building, so I'm tapped into their internet, so it may be a little slow.
Okay. Well, we
Yeah.
may have to forego the background, but that's okay.
Okay, well, I'm happy to not have it. So, I mean, there are other people who probably need assistance, so I'll just
Yeah.
exit out of here.
Thank you, sir. All right,
See.
welcome to everybody else who joined us. We want to make sure that your microphone and your camera is working. So if you can take a minute to make sure that you turn on your camera, your microphone, and if you would like a virtual background, Jason emailed the steps to do that, or if you can get somebody to help you, please.
See, Carletta, I see you on here. Do you want to do a mic check real fast?
Hi, everyone. It's Carletta.
Ah, fantastic.
Carletta.
Good morning, this is Scott. Mic check.
Sounds
Thank you,
good,
sir.
Scott.
Hi, good morning. Well, here in Arizona, it's still morning, so good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can't. Are you able to tilt your screen down just a bit, Mr. Talusi?
Okay, well, maybe I need to tilt my chair up a little.
I can just there. Oh, that's better. Yeah, your face was getting cut in half.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair Tim, for turning on the camera. We confirm that it works and we can see you. Okay. When you have some time, Jason, can you give us about directions when we're ready to start, please?
Yep.
Is excuse me. Is Hopi online? Is Hopi there?
Yes, I see Chair Navanyama on.
Okay. Our footsteps or our footprints, how do you say that in Hopi? Aita Kobini?
I'll defer to the chair. Okay, I think we're waiting on a few more panelists. We'll wait 5 more minutes, and then I think we've got to go ahead and start, if that's okay, Carletta.
Yes.
Okay.
Jason,
Yes.
there's a couple of people that are in the waiting room to be let in.
Okay. All right. One moment. So I have to start the webinar in order for that to happen. Are they folks that we need on the press conference?
No,
Okay.
observers.
Yeah.
Right.
So once we start the webinar, everybody who's waiting will be let in. And then I'll go ahead and hit the live stream so we can live stream it on our Facebook page. And then we can go ahead and start the agenda for the press conference.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'll start the webinar here in about 1 minute, and then I will go to the live stream, and then at 1:35, Carletta, the floor is yours. Okay, Carletta, if you want to go ahead and start, we're having a little bit of issues with the live stream, but I'll work on that, but feel free to kick us off.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Good morning, everyone. Nyasivia Carletta Talusi Sitge Netapsu Aliunia Hange Vanyavam Bamia Vakmitma Kwe Baratha Gaijaki Vakit Evama Vanyavma. Welcome, everybody. My name is Carletta Talusi. I'm from the Havasupai tribe. Today is a special day for all of us and the leaders that have put a lot of work into declaring the Grand Canyon National Monument Act announcement. We appreciate everyone's time for being here,
And my job is to help kind of facilitate this process along. And I will go ahead and just go down the list of names. And as I mention your name, each tribal leader can make a statement on behalf of their hard work that we've done to declare Baaj Nwaavjo Ita Kukveni Grand Canyon National Monument. So I'll go ahead and start with Havasupai Tribe Vice Chairman Edmund Talusi. Go ahead and take the floor. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Edmund Talusi. I'll say this in my language. Hanju Baje. My name is Nwaavjo Edmund Talusi Ijke, Vice Chairman of Havasupai Tribe by Yevin. Mahanku Baje by Nwaavjo Baje by Baje Wabamyong Hanku Baje Hanku. Okay, this is a very important moment in time for the Havasupai tribe, and we have lived in and around the Grand Canyon since time immemorial. Our ancestors were once spread far and wide throughout the region, and what later became known as the Grand Canyon National Park. With great sadness, the federal government removed our ancestors in 1928. My great-grandfather, Captain Burrow, ultimately became the last Havasupai to be removed. As tragic as these events were, we are proud to have never left the Grand Canyon. Our home is still in the Grand Canyon, and we are the only tribe that has remained here. We know this place intimately. The canyon is a part of each and every Havasupai person. It is our home. It is our land and our water source in our very being. To the millions of people who come to visit the Grand Canyon each year, sites known as Havasupai Gardens, Bright Angel Trail, Waskogmi Point, and Menekcha Point may be just names on a map, but to us they are constant reminders that our ancestors lived throughout this area. Located in and around the Grand Canyon is our scarce sites, medicine, land, and water. Designating these areas as a national monument will protect them from contamination, destruction, or exploitation, and the other harmful effects of mining. We simply cannot live without these clean waters. As guardians of the Grand Canyon, we have a duty not only to our ancestors like Captain Burrow, who tirelessly fought for protection of these scarce sites, but also a duty to our children and future generations. In closing, I want to thank Senator Sinema, Representative Grijalva, each of our staff members and all of the individuals and tribes involved with the Tribal Coalition for their endless support of the Havasupai tribe and our journey as guardians of the Grand Canyon. Finally, the Havasupai tribes humbly urges the President of the United States to use his executive authority to establish the Baaj Nwaavjo Ita Kukveni Grand Canyon National Monument, which will ensure that the magnificent areas of the Grand Canyon region are protected and preserved for all generations to come. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edmund Talusi. I'll go ahead and ask the Hualapai Tribe Vice Chairman Scott Crozier to make statements.
Good morning, Kamite Pache, Huye, Hanke, Paratok Kauti, Hualapai, Haksayu, Ute, Pine Spring area on the Hualapai Reservation. First of all, I would like to say thank you, Mr. Grijalva and Senator Sinema, for being a part of the Grand Canyon Coalition in helping the Southwest tribes with designating this monument, which is called the Grand Canyon, as we all call upon President Biden to do, with the support of all leaders, to help with this monument. As Indigenous people and calling the Grand Canyon a place of birth for us tribes, we have a lot of respect for Mother Earth as stewards of this land. I, as a Hualapai tribal leader, stand strong against any mining on any tribal lands and ask that you support us in this fight to stop mining. We have heard that Southwest tribes have originated from this canyon. Many of us go back home into the canyon to pay our respects to this land. We see many visitors coming to this canyon to see the vast canyons that display a wonderful color of during the sunset. And again, I urge that President Biden uses executive authority to make this a monument for us Southwest tribes to call home. And in closing, I would like to say thank you for giving me this time to speak about the importance of the Grand Canyon National Monument and what it means to the Southwest tribes. Mahanka.
Thank you very much, Hualapai Vice Chairman. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Hopi Tribe. Chairman Tim Nwaavjo, please make your statements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lucy, and Kwakwa for tribal leaders that had spoken in front of me. My name is Timothy Nwaavjo. I do have the honor of serving as the chairman for the Hopi Tribe. And the Hopi Tribe supports President Biden's use of his authority under the Antiquities Act of 1906 to protect the tribal nations, homelands, and designate the Grand Canyons of the Baaj Nwaavjo, the Kukveni Grand Canyon National Monument. There's been a lot of work going into this, and with the support of Chairman Grijalva and Senator Sinema, we're at this point calling on President Biden, where the Creator gave us a gift, and that gift is in the form of the Grand Canyon. That gift is not only to the tribal nations that have that intimate connection with it, but it's a gift to the state of Arizona. It's a gift to the United States. It's a gift to the entire world. So we do have to protect the beauty and grandeur of this area that we call home, many tribes call home. And for the Hopi Tribe, the Grand Canyon holds significant cultural or religious value for the Hopi people, which is part of our history and heritage. The Hopi people believe they emerged in the present world, the fourth world, from Sipakbuni, a travertine cone at a spring located along the Little Colorado River, several miles upstream from the confluence of the Colorado River. The Hopi Tribe wholeheartedly supports this designation because it measures protect the Grand Canyon's physical beauty and preserves its natural and cultural resources. This designation is the highest priority to the Hopi people. The Hopi people and many other Native Americans view the Grand Canyon as a beautiful natural landmark and a place of spiritual reverence. Again, as many of my relatives, tribal leaders, and others that are part of this, President Biden, we call on you to use your authority under the Antiquities Act to preserve the natural beauty and put protections around the Grand Canyon from the Hopi people. Kwakwa. Thank you, Mr. Lucy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Hopi Tribe. I'm now going to move on to the Kaibab Band of Paiute Indians, Chairwoman Ona Segundo. Chairwoman, you're on mute.
Apologies. Hi, good morning. My name is Ona Segundo, Chairwoman for the Kaibab Band of Paiute Indians. On behalf of our tribe, I want to express our support for the designation of this monument. And I want to thank our Representative Grijalva and Senator Sinema for supporting the tribes in designating this monument. We ask that President Biden take heart and listen to what our tribes are saying about this the monument. The Grand Canyon is a special place to many different tribes in the Western Arizona. Our tribe believes that this area, the Grand Canyon, it plays a important part to us. It's part of when we have our end of our when we move on to the different world after we leave this world, we believe that the Grand Canyon is important to us, and we take our next step from there. We also believe that we need to preserve the beauty of it, and we need to remind ourselves that it's not only for us here in the present, but for those that are coming behind us, that they too can enjoy this beautiful scenery, that they can learn from the land, from the culture, from our spiritual endeavors that we participate in. And so I call upon you guys, the president, to designate this monument, to help the tribes, to assist the tribes, so that we can preserve an important part of our culture and our history and our spiritual needs here on the Grand Canyon. And I thank you on behalf of the Kaibab Paiute Indians.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman Segundo. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Colorado River Indian Tribes, CRIT, Amelia Flores. I'm not too sure if they were able to join on time, so I'm going to go ahead and once you join, just let us know. I'll go ahead and move on to the next speaker, San Juan Southern Paiute Council Member Richard Gray Mountain, please.
Good morning. Can you hear me? I think.
Yes, we can. Thank you. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Mike, Ayakwichuk. I think it's still morning, but good morning to each and every one of the representatives from their tribes, as well as Senator Sinema and Representative Grijalva. I just would like to say, I'm the North Area Tribal Council with San Juan Southern Paiute Tribe. We're in support of all of the tribes, the sister tribes that are involved with the Grand Canyon coalition slash that we are in support of uranium mining, banning the uranium mining, and then as well as other aspects of the Grand Canyon, because that we're actually sister tribes of the rest of other tribes, what their origins and their stories are, which we always are involved in them as well. So I would just like to extend our support to the rest of the tribe, as well as Havasupai and Hualapai, and in their efforts to ban uranium mining or any other experimentations or whatsoever. So we would like to have Kyrsten Sinema and Representative Grijalva to move on forward and be in support of us, as well as the efforts for Biden's thoughts and ways of our tribal treaties and relations with the Grand Canyon. And that's all we'd like to say from San Juan Southern Paiute Tribe. 2 thumbs up and move on forward with all of our intents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard Gray Mountain. Thank you so much, Richard Gray Mountain. I'll go ahead and move on to the next speaker, Director of the Navajo Nation Heritage and Historic Preservation Department, Richard Begay. You're on mute, sir.
Sorry about that. I was talking away and I didn't realize I was muted. As on the agenda, you'll see Bitta Becker's name. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us. The President Nygren has asked me to present on behalf of the Navajo Nation. The Navajo Nation generally supports the establishment of this monument. In this area, the Navajo people have lived here for millennia. We have place names in there, places that are important to us. We have Natotzi, the Kaibab Plateau, Grand Canyon, Tsetchiko, Toa, the Colorado River, and many other places within this proposed monument that are important to Navajo people for and such as collecting water and plants for ceremonial and domestic use. People collect firewood up in the forest areas and have a relationship with the wildlife and all the plants in that area. And this place is very important in the whole Grand Canyon region. We would like to see co-management as a part of the proposal, and hopefully we're confident that that will be part of the proposal. We ask that both Sinema and the Grijalva consider that, and we ask Biden to ensure that tribes are involved in the co-management of the monument. We also are in support of the ban on uranium mining within the Grand Canyon region. As everyone knows, the Navajo Nation is a close neighbor of the national park, and there are access roads that the mining companies will use to access and to transport uranium and waste, probably through the Navajo Nation. So we are very concerned about that. So we do support the ban on uranium mining in this area. And finally, just real quickly, we do want to thank the representatives here in the coalition, and we do ask that Biden do use his powers under the Antiquities Act to establish this monument, and and co-management is something that we would like to see all tribes involved in. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Navajo Nation. I'll go ahead and move on to Flagstaff Mayor, Becky Daggett, please.
Thank you. I am here to voice Flagstaff's support for this and to thank Congressman Grijalva and Senator Sinema. And I'm here not only to voice Flagstaff support, but mostly to voice our support and gratitude to all of the Indigenous nations that have worked so hard to bring this about and to make it happen, and to show our sincere support for you all and your work. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'll go ahead and move on to Coconino County Supervisor Lena Fowler, please.
Yeah, the Grand Canyon is one of the most visited parks in the United States. And it's been a long standing of the Coconino County Board of Supervisors to oppose the mining within the Grand Canyon and near the Grand Canyon within Coconino County. So this is a great day. Wow, all the tribes are here, and really want to thank the Senator Sinema, Congressman Grijalva, and all those that have been working on this for many years. This has been ongoing, and this is a great effort, and we are very excited to have the designation proposed for the Grand Canyon Area National Monument. It will withdraw 1 million acres of already federal lands that is from the operation of mineral mine and other mining like uranium. It's very important that we put a ban to that, which is what in 2012, the temporary 20-year ban was placed on new mines. This will permanently ban the mining within this site. There are currently approximately about 6,000 active claims that need to be banned. This will permanently ban those claims. The monument is so important to our region, and tribes that hold this area as a sacred place and also to residents that live in the area. This monument will not impact grazing. We have ranchers in the area. We also have logging activities. It will not impact that. Hunting, it's our residents and others come here to hunt, and it will not impact that. And then outside recreation, it will not impact that as well. Instead, what it will do is safeguard cultural resources, drinking water, our watersheds, our wildlife habitat, outdoor recreation, and the region's fragile watershed. It is so important that we protect that. And then just our economy, our visitors that come through, we will be able to enhance and be able to protect that for the years to come. So that Coconino County has had a long standing of protecting its resources within the county for the future generations, and this monument will be able to accomplish that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Lena Fowler. At this time, we'd like to welcome Senator Kyrsten Sinema to the floor, and she will make her comments to the press. Thank you. Welcome. You're on mute, Senator. No. Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Carletta. As you all know, the Grand Canyon is one of Arizona's many natural treasures, and it's an important part of our history and our heritage. It's our responsibility to be thoughtful stewards of our environment and its inhabitants. As an outdoor enthusiast, I have great personal appreciation for the Grand Canyon, and that's why I'm honored to join you all today to announce our effort to designate this new Grand Canyon National Monument. Today's announcement is a product of hard work and strong collaboration between tribes, local leaders, myself, and Congressman Grijalva. I'm especially grateful for the tribe's tremendous leadership. We worked with a wide and diverse range of Arizonans to find agreement on the location and the 1.1 million acre size of the proposed monument. This agreement is the same land size as proposed in my Grand Canyon Protection Act that I introduced last Congress in the Senate and that Congressman Grijalva introduced in the House. And now we're officially calling on the administration to designate these areas of the Grand Canyon as a national monument to protect our water and our cultural heritage while providing recreation opportunities that our communities in Northern Arizona rely on. Luckily for the administration, we've already done the hard work. We've proposed a framework that we'll use to work with the administration and our coalition over the coming months to create the monument under the Antiquities Act. And I'm honored to be a part of this coalition and help lead this effort to protect the Grand Canyon. And I look forward to introducing our legislation and working with Congressman Grijalva and the administration to make this a reality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Kyrsten Sinema. I'm going to move on to Honorable Raúl Grijalva.
Thank you very much, Carletta, and my special thanks to you for the effort and the organizing and advocacy that you have provided on this issue, the Grand Canyon, and obviously for the time that we have worked together. Special thanks to Senator Sinema. Her leadership in the Senate is vital, and her support is critical, and I want to thank her very much for that. And to the tribal leaders and representatives that are here today, thank you for inviting me to participate in this very, very vital announcement. The Tribal Coalition is the leadership on this issue, and I want to thank you for what is being done and for the unity that is being displayed on this critical issue of designating the Grand Canyon as a national monument. You know, the fight to preserve our natural heritage is never easy or direct. As a nation, we are locked in a constant debate about how to protect and preserve the lands we call home. Nearly 2 decades ago, as a member of Congress, I joined the difficult and necessary struggle to permanently protect the Grand Canyon. With the solid support of my Democratic colleagues from Arizona, we passed legislation in the House of Representatives to ban uranium mining and harmful extractions in and around the Grand Canyon. But opposition from the mining industry, their champions in the US Senate and the Trump administration stymied those efforts. While President Obama had the wisdom to put a moratorium on uranium mining for the Grand Canyon, the Trump administration attempted to dismantle these critical protections. Now, coupled with the Republican majority in the House's passage of H.R. 1, an obscene handout to big oil and multinational mining conglomerates, the threat and the danger to the Grand Canyon is greater than ever. H.R. 1 will make the Grand Canyon an expendable commodity. It will exploit, sell, and trade this iconic public land for private profit. If they're willing to do it to the Grand Canyon, then none of our lands are safe from this kind of unbridled greed. I joined the struggle late, as I said, in my role in Congress. I say late because since time immemorial, it is the indigenous people, the tribes, who have served as the principal protectors, guardians, and stewards of the Grand Canyon, their real and spiritual home. Their history, their identity, their sacred beliefs are inseparable from the canyon. I cannot adequately thank the tribal representatives and their people for the adversities they endured while providing our entire country this opportunity to balance our climate transition with justice. They deserve our gratitude and our respect. The national splendor and sustenance of the Grand Canyon deserves protection. The meaning and spirit of the Grand Canyon deserves protection. Our sacred heritage deserves protection. Today, we embark on a national campaign to urge President Biden to designate Grand Canyon National Monument under the Antiquities Act. This campaign is not just about making history. It's about saving history and its spirit and the people who honor the canyon. I'm proud to be here with tribal leaders, with Senator Sinema, and a vast coalition of allies across this country and across Arizona. Thank you very much, Carletta, and I'll yield it back to you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Raúl Grijalva. I'm going to go ahead and take this time to call upon Colorado River Indian Tribe Chair Amelia Flores. Please make your statements to the press.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Chairwoman. You have
okay. Again, Coach Kamadu, Nyepamul, Amelia Flores, and thank you, Ms. Carletta, for languages. Again, Makapchadam, I am Mojave, and my ancestors lived along the Colorado River farther downstream from the National Monument. We are all working to preserve our histories and our places in the landscape along the Colorado River, which is CRIT's namesakes, Colorado River Indian Tribe's namesake, and using our language for the new national monument at Abikwame, and now to use the Havasupai and the Hopi language to rename this national monument are very important to preserving our place along the Colorado River. Our spiritual connection is deeply tied into these places along the river. The settlements, dams, and reservoirs, and now massive solar projects are all impacting our history and our connections to our homelands. We are working to preserve and repatriate the relics and remains of our homes, our footprints and camps that are being scraped from the land and removed for these projects. The current regulation permit developers to take the evidence of our past and store it in large warehouses far from our homelands have to stop. And hopefully with the namings of these places and placing these homelands in protection will do that. So the practice needs to change for all of us, and our history needs to stay on our homelands, which we are so deeply connected to. The designation of this national monument with a name based on tribal languages. This is a momentous day in the preservation of our history and the recognition of our tribal connections to this landscape. I express thanks on behalf of the Colorado River Indian tribes to the tribal leaders that are joined in this Zoom meeting and have expressed their concerns and about this monument, and to Chairman Grijalva and Senator Sinema and all others to helping to rename this national monument, and that our statements are taken to the heart and not overlooked. All that we said today is from our hearts and from our people. So, Yomam Etka Gorinyem, thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman Amelia Flores. I want to thank everyone that is on the Zoom call with us today on this historic occasion to declare the Grand Canyon National Monument, Baaj Nwaavjo Ita Kukveni. Thank you so much for allowing me to facilitate this part of the press conference. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jason Johnson. Hangyo ma.
Thank you so much, Carletta. For this next portion of the press conference, we'll move on to Q&A. If members of the press have questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A box or to raise your hand. The first question and request is from Univision, Arizona. Congressman Grijalva and Chairwoman Amelia Flores, would you mind making some statements in Spanish for Univision?
Hoy con los pueblos indígenas, los tribus que tienen una relación profunda con el Gran Cañón, este lugar tan especial para toda la nación, para el estado de Arizona, pero pero algo más profundo y espiritual y histórico para los tribus indígenas de la región. Estamos con ellos para pedir que el presidente Biden designa bajo una ley que le da a él la autoridad de designar el Gran Cañón un área para protección de consecuencias de las mineras que están ocurriendo y quieren ocurrir, las compañías que no quieren sostener cerquita del Gran Cañón, proteger eso permanentemente para que generaciones de pueblos, de gente, tengan la oportunidad de no solamente gozar de este lugar tan especial y tan importante, pero también tenerlo para las generaciones, para que entiendan su historia, que entiendan la profundidad de proteger esta región. Iniciamos esta campaña, y estamos aquí este día para iniciar esta campaña para proteger permanentemente el Gran Cañón de cualquier actividad minera o que le traiga daño a este lugar tan especial, tan espiritual y tan importante para la nación.
Good morning, Mr. Barraza. My name is Amelia Flores, as I said before. Flores is my married name. I do not speak fluent Spanish, but thank you for your question. My maiden name is Laffoon, which is more of a French name, but these were names given to my family from back to the 1800s. So I apologize that I cannot answer in Spanish to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to Ryan Heinsius with the Flagstaff affiliate NPR. He asked, President Biden recently designated a Vikwame National Monument in Southern Nevada for its tribal and cultural value. How did that recent designation affect how this proposal is being framed?
Is there some letter or somebody
Yes, sir.
Perhaps from the coalition's perspective or any other member as to that question. The question was just asked.
Okay, thank you. Tribal leaders that are in the working group coalition, do you mind making a statement to the question? Can you please restate the question, Jason Johnson?
Sure. It's President Biden recently designated a Vikwame National Monument in Southern Nevada for its tribal and cultural value. How did that recent designation affect how this proposal is being framed?
Mr. Who am I answering to? I don't know who I'm answering to, but I will give my statement is that we are celebrating with much enthusiasm, President Biden's designation of a Vikwame to the Mojave people and the Yuman people who recognize this as our point of origins. So it has a greater impact of the signing and designating of Vikwame to this end for the Grand Canyon. We need to build momentum, and I think that has started the momentum for 2020 for this century, so that we can start building and designating all those religious sites and parts of origins to all Native people, Indigenous people. It's long overdue, and especially when we go to a litigation for protection of our homelands, when our elders give testimony that these places that are near and dear to us and that spiritual connected, culturally connected, that our elders give statement of the places. However, it is not taken into consideration, and the solar projects, the mining projects get approved to BLM, then those places are erased and impacted. Our lands are raped by these projects. So I think that's the framework of a Vikwame is leading into the exception of accepting the Grand Canyon as a national monument. Thank you.
In quick response, I would think that the level of consistency is really important here. Key to the Antiquities Act and key to a designation is the Indigenous association and relevance and importance and central role to a designation of a monument. And the Grand Canyon obviously fits that to a T, as was a designation at Bears Ears, as was a designation at in Nevada. So it's part of a consistency, and we would hope that consistency continues under the Biden administration, which I think makes our plea, our ask, our call to the administration that much more powerful.
Thank you. I have a question from Stan Bedell at the Navajo Hopi Observer. It's for Senator Sinema and Congressman Grijalva. Have you spoken to President Biden, or will you speak to him about the monument proposal? I don't see Senator Sinema on anymore, so Congressman, question's all yours.
We've had staff level discussions, but I think the formality of those discussions with the president, his team is aware, his team has been spoken with and talked to about this effort. And so it's not a surprise, number one. Number two, the formality of it is what we're seeing here today at this press conference. I think it's critical that the tribes that are here today and allies that are helping in this effort across this country in Arizona, at some point, whether it is a listening session and whether it is direct communications, that's the leadership that'll present it, and we'll be there to play, I hope, an important supporting role. Yes, they know, and yes, those formalities and meetings are going to be set up now that the formal announcement has been made about the campaign.
Thank you. Jonathan Nicholson, Huffington Post. You should be allowed to unmute now.
Thank you, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. This is a question for Representative Grijalva. You've been active in various fights against development on native and historic lands before. And I'm curious how this is interesting here. This one is all these tribes coming together to say we need to make sure that this area is kept clean, for lack of a better term. But how would you compare and contrast it with, say, the Willow Project in Alaska, where there seems to be more divided feelings among the indigenous people there compared to this? How do these two compare?
That I don't know how I don't know if I can answer that in terms of a comparison. I believe the uniqueness of what we're dealing with here in Arizona and in the Grand Canyon and the allied organizations that are with us understand the significance as they did at Willow. The considerations there were based on where the elected officials. We fortunately have unity among the elected officials, the federal officials that are part of this effort here in Arizona, at least on the Democratic side, and with Senator Sinema, who is an independent, but nevertheless represents the state of Arizona, and as such, that unity I think has been a significant difference.
All right, thank you. Anita Snow, Associated Press, you should be able to unmute. You are unmuted, but we can't hear you.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
we can.
Okay, great. I guess this would be a question for Representative Grijalva. Can you talk about, well, there were two things I wanted to ask you. Was there an earlier, somebody had mentioned that they thought there was an earlier campaign along these lines, and we were wondering if this was like a rejuvenation of that, number one. And number two, what do you see as the possibility for success in getting this approved?
Yeah, there's been other efforts. There's been legislative efforts. As I mentioned, the Grand Canyon Protection Act passed the House and then didn't survive the Senate and wasn't supported by Trump during that period of time. We made an effort with the Obama administration earlier on during that time period for a monument designation, but at the time the priority issue was Bears Ears, and justifiably so in terms of a critical threat at that time and other areas. So and we had the moratorium in place, but now, I feel that there is support. I feel that the Biden administration has been on many issues dealing with self-determination, sovereignty issues, consultation issues, and resource issues for Indian country has been very strong advocate. Consistent with that and consistent with the designation in Nevada, I think we have a good opportunity. And so we feel like we have a good opportunity. I'm optimistic, as I've always been on this issue, but there's never been a lag time or a restart. this has been consistent, as I mentioned earlier, going on 2 decades of trying to, whatever effort was possible, to provide the overlay of protection for the Grand Canyon and the area being designated for a monument, the area that is designated for the moratorium that's in place right now that bans uranium mining. Those have been consistent. Nobody is let down. This is an opportunity, as I said in my opening, that the tribes have generated and providing, and that's what we're going to push, and I'm optimistic.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anita. We have a question, Congressman, from Jake Federico with the Arizona Republic. This area is a critical watershed for the West. How do you hope this potential designation would secure water supply for Arizona residents?
It eliminates a couple of factors. It eliminates the factor of potential contamination, and it eliminates the factor of any interruption in that water flow, and with the subsistence of the Grand Canyon in general, what's going on in Lake Mead as a reservoir, protecting that water source. Water is life, life is water. Protecting that source, I think, for not only the state of Arizona, but for the 7 basin states, that's another opportunity that the tribes have provided, not only the administration, but the state and the country in general, to extend a protection to that watershed that doesn't exist right now.
Thank you. And we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. Another question coming from Ryan Heintis from NPR. This monument proposal is an outgrowth of several previous efforts to establish a monument in the greater Grand Canyon area. Are there any substantial differences in how the monument would be managed?
The significance that has already been set in precedent is, and that is an important point to the tribal leaders that are here and the tribes represented, is the co-management by tribes working with the federal government and on that protection. I think that's a critical of importance. It is something that I think would be consistent with the policies that have been established going with the last monument designations, in which Indigenous people are playing a more and more significant role in the co-management, and we hope to keep that and accelerate that with this designation.
Thank you. This question is for the group from the Navajo Hopi Observer.
Jason?
Yes.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Chairman Tin would like to answer the previous question before moving forward. Thank you.
Floor is yours.
Thank you both. I wanted to dovetail off of Congressman Grijalva's comments. It's not foreign territory anymore, I want to say. With the efforts going into Bears Ears, there are several tribes that have already developed and established a coalition and working with our federal partners in co-management. So in a sense, we're learning along with our federal partners to move in this direction. So the dynamics are shifting, and tribes are really coming together in support of one another to really have that voice and seat at the table. So I'm encouraged that once the president designates this as Baaj Nwaavjo Kukveni National Monument, and I say that with optimism, that we'll be able to start talking about those next steps. That is, going to the point of your question and looking at ways we can co-management, have a co-management evolve out of this also. And we've already learned quite a bit from that. So I'm encouraged that we can continue moving in that direction as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would anyone else like to address the question? Okay, all right. The next question to the group: how do you envision the Grand Canyon National Monument will impact future generations and the ongoing dialogue surrounding the protection of sacred ancestral homelands? if anyone from the tribal coalition would like to speak.
I can go, Mr. Lucy. This is Chairman Nwaavjo from the Hopi Tribe. I think it's an encouraging step forward. From the Hopi side, we do have our continuing cultural traditions that are connected to the Grand Canyon. So it's not lost in the home. And part of our cultural traditions are connected to that. So this puts a real-time scenario into educating and looking at our professional capacity at that standpoint. And I think it is healthy for all tribes to look into that with the future generations to really understand the meaning of the Grand Canyon to all of us, and how we're going to continue to preserve and protect that area. So I think it's a really good foundation to build on when it comes to educating our youth in looking into those professional capacities in the management of the Grand Canyon. So it's going to continue to live on. I don't think any tribe has ever lost that connection, and it's within ourselves to continue to educate in that way. So I'm encouraged by the efforts here and the advocacy to get this established as Baaj Nwaavjo Kukveni National Monument. It's a really great foundation for our youth to continue to grow, learn, and develop from this action that we're looking at today. Kwakwa.
Good morning, Amelia Flores again, and I would like to make a comment regarding the question, and that is recognition. Not recognition by the tribes, but recognition by the outside, the government and communities and the communities and the government. Respect also. This would be respect of our native indigenous people's knowledge about these places and these monuments. The equity also plays an important part in their equity, and be considered also as we move forward and go into the next generation. We all and it all also provides that these sites and these monuments are living, because they're living to us, and they're not dead and they're not put aside, but they're still living. So that legacy also will remain intact with moving forward, and for the, as Chairman said, the education of non-Indigenous people. Thank you.
Carletta, if there's no other tribal leader, I think the two responses to the question are at the heart of this discussion today. But I also want to point out something. The National Monument provides security to the Grand Canyon. It provides security to the indigenous people and tribes who see the Grand Canyon in a more profound and deep way. And in saying that, I think what you're doing is for generations to come, be they indigenous or not, to get a comprehensive, full look at what the Grand Canyon is, what it means, what it symbolizes, in the full sense of what history is, what culture is, and what spiritual importance and sacred sites mean. That is an education that is, because it is the Grand Canyon, because of the profile of this area, nationwide and worldwide. I think it'll not only bring attention to the security of protecting the Grand Canyon permanently from extraction and from destruction, but what it does, it raises the profile of what it means as the Grand Canyon, what it means to the first stewards and the first guardians of the Grand Canyon. I think it's an education for the public in general and for the nation as a whole. And I think that's just very, very significant. But it begins with assuring the security, the protection permanently of the Grand Canyon. And that's step one. And as the two other respondents, tribal leaders said, then the evolution and the true history begins to be seen.
Thank you, Congressman. Carletta or Ms. Fowler, did either of you like to address the question?
I'll have Lena Fowler speak first, please.
Thank you. And I just want to build upon the protection of the region. This monument will really protect those communities that are on the natural spring water. We have communities that are on natural spring water with this monument and banning the mining of uranium. It will really protect our Colorado River watershed. And also just the region, we have ranchers in the area, which will protect the animals. We also have recreation areas, but we also it will really protect the land, will protect the residents, and yes, the cultural resources that we are all very familiar with. That this is our homeland, and we'll be able to protect that. So we're very encouraged by this, and it will just highlight the importance of land that provides for the people and as well as the wildlife in the area. So I just want to add that. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. Carletta, we'll let you have the last word.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of the Havasupai tribe, as a tribal member as well, growing up in Supai, we have been fighting uranium mining since I was 16 years old. And we understand and see the history of what uranium has done in the Southwest to our neighbors, the Navajos and Hopis. And we don't want to see that happen to our small tribe. And we also have sacred trails and ancient burial sites in these areas, including spring waters that need to be protected. And we'd like to protect those all for future generations, not only for Havasupai, but also for all the people that visit the Grand Canyon. We want them to be safe. We want them to have fresh water. And that is all we're asking for as the Havasupai people. And as you can hear and see, the coalition members here have expressed their feelings of how important the Grand Canyon is to us. And that's all we ask today, is to join us in this great effort to protect the Grand Canyon and its waters. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Well, pretty good.
Thank you, Carletta. And with that, we'll go ahead and conclude the press conference. If there are any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to the House Natural Resources team, and we'll be happy to follow them up. Thank you so much.
Jason, Carletta had her hand raised.
No, I didn't. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Carletta.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey,